Hello, our dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of Africa Today. In today's edition, we are going to talk about the U.S.-African relations in light of the developments in the United States, the results of the presidential elections, and the fact that Donald Trump did become the Republican president of the United States of America after winning the presidential election race over Hillary Clinton, his Democratic candidate. And of course, that would lead to many changes that we could see on the international front. That would be our topic for discussion, and we'll start with this report. With the U.S. election taking center stage in Africa, eyes are looking at how ties with the U.S. will be after the election win. Here's a look at the U.S.-African ties from a trade perspective, most recently at a business forum in New York in September 2016.
U.S.-Africa Business Forum last September in New York was described as an incredible success, mobilizing $9.1 billion in trade and investment to support African business sectors and setting the groundwork for even greater cooperation and connection between the economies of the U.S. and Africa. Delegations from 44 African countries, including 29 African leaders, joined President Barack Obama, Secretary of Commerce Penny Pritzker, Secretary of State John Kerry, Secretary of the Treasury Jack Lew, hundreds of CEOs from the U.S. and Africa, and media from around the world to recognize opportunities for jobs and growth in both regions. In addition to announcing over $9 billion mobilized at the U.S.-Africa Business Forum, Obama reaffirmed the U.S.'s commitment to partnerships in Africa. Several deals were announced and signed at the forum, showcasing the best in both business deals and public-private partnerships. According to calculations from the IMF, data of average annual GDP growth over the past 5 years, Africa has more than half of the world's 20 fastest-growing economies.
South Sudanese rebel leader Riek Machar says the decision by the Kenyan government to withdraw from the peace process in South Sudan and withdraw its peacekeepers prove that the peace deal signed in August 2015 has collapsed. He called for new political initiative to save the agreement. Samah al-Sharif reports.
Kenyatta has announced he had directed Kenyan forces to begin withdrawing from the UN mission in South Sudan, UNMISS. Kenya has about 1,000 troops in the mission and had pledged more as part of a regional protection force to reinforce the mission. South Sudan rebel leader Riek Machar called on the international community and the guarantors of the peace agreement to initiate a new initiative to save the peace deal. He said that failing to do so will mean the war will continue. He also said the withdrawal of the Kenyan government from the peace agreement and the withdrawal of its forces is a big hit to the peace in South Sudan and proves that the agreement has collapsed. Machar also criticized the Kenyan government for deporting his spokesperson into the hands of President Salva Kiir government last week. He said his spokesperson is registered as an asylee in Kenya and said he will accelerate efforts so that he can be taken from Juba through the UN. He said the UN is seeking to extract his spokesperson from South Sudan to a third country. He said the UN is seeking to extract his spokesperson from South Sudan to a third country. Asked about the proposed relocation of his forces from Congo, Machar said the Congolese government and the UN will handle it. Several hundred SPLM-IO troops took refuge in Congo after trekking with Machar from Juba when they were attacked in July this year.